Hello, going back in time again, September, October 1981. We're kind of finishing up the year, and it's kind of keep you in the rhythm of things here. Again, always this time of year, we're dealing with a classic that they don't really report, in this month, because they were really late in reporting them back then, and we will see it coming up. But this is the time of year that they had the classic, and they had it in Montgomery, Alabama. But we won't go there yet. Get to this. This is again kind of about the road to the 81 Classic. Typically, as we've talked in the last back in times, Roland Martin is pretty dominating, as he is. Again, at that time he was nobody even close to him as far as, his accomplishments and his dedication and the amount of time he spent on the water, which is what it took. And so Roland won 3 straight events this year, which is still amazing to me. And so I will always hold him in really high esteem. There he is with those 3 trophies. And of course, he was always a fairly clean-cut, handsome-looking guy. And but of course, he always ran into his bugaboo, which was the Classic. I'll go into a little bit of my opinions on that. This Bass Angler of the Year, you can see where Roland was and then who was second, and I was third. Bo Dowden. Bo's one of the most overlooked anglers in our sport. And I don't know if it's why he was kind of quiet and awkward and didn't really, but he was. If you'll see him, especially in this era, in this time frame, he just really stands out, and he's always there. You go, who's that? That's Bo, so they had, I don't really remember this, but they had a Western division and a Eastern division in the bass standings. Roland was first in both of them. I was 9th in the Western and 3rd in the Eastern. Larry Nixon was 2nd in the Western, and Larry's down here someplace. I think all of us fished both divisions. So, yeah, I'll have to shake my memory to understand why we had 2 divisions back then. Then we always had the Bass Champs fish off, which I won the first one there at Percy Priest. That was just a special one. It eventually fades away. Jerry, we had this one on Cherokee Lake, and it actually went into overtime. You hear overtime in other sports. Actually, what there was a tie, and Harold Sharp decided, okay, we're going to go back out. We'll put an observer in the boat with each angler, and whoever catches the first fish, the observer will immediately call in, and he's the winner, and we'll bring everybody back in. And this gentleman that lived on the lake, Jerry Nicely, is the one who actually pulled it off and won it. I think these are the 2 that were, that went out there together.
And their names, does it say?
Jerry Nicely and Alex, Fancher. So it was.
And Cherokee Lake is where?
It's in Tennessee. It's pretty close to where this year's Classic is going to be. But Jerry, I ended up 10th. I had 4 fish for a 3-day tournament, okay? 4 fish that weighed 11.8.
Good grief.
And I was 10th. But, at the same time, the leaders only had, 16, 17 pounds. So I think one of them had the most fish, and the guy that ended up second had actually 8 fish total for the 3 days. So that was one of those really tough ones back in that time frame, and I kind of miss those, to be honest with you, because it really got rid of, you know, any of the doubters and any of the people who didn't have the toughness to stick with that kind of hard fishing. Oh, yep, and I just saw Basil here back at the Hall of Fame in Springfield a few weeks ago, and he won this tournament, and I was second at Albemarle Sound in North Carolina, a massive body of water. First day I went out with a guy, took his boat, cracked his hull. I had to borrow a boat for the rest of the tournament because mine wasn't big enough to go where I needed to go. I had a little 18-horse boat with an 80-horse engine on it. And so I borrowed this boat and ended up second behind Basil. They had a tournament there this year with the leader caught over 100 pounds. Winning tournament in this one, Basil was, this was a 3-day event, but he had 46 something.
Good grief. Was it not as good of a fishery back then, or is it just the style?
I think it's the styles now. Like, it had big fish back then. In fact, I was catching a few, and I think Ricky Green had the big bass every single day, or at least two of the, yeah. See, two of the days Ricky Green had a big bass, 8.3 and 7.13, and the first day another angler had a 8.11. So it had big bass. We just weren't as good at catching them. This tournament, you know, was Basil caught his flipping, I'm sure, back then. That's what he liked to do. I caught mine on a little crankbait and throwing a spinnerbait and throwing a buzzbait. So typical was we were doing what we had the most confidence in. But Albemarle Sound is a lot of fish. It's got a lot of rivers feeding into it, but it's also a huge bay that gets incredibly rough. Well, that concludes September, October 1981.